I open my eyes and blink against the blinding fluorescent lights. My arms ache, my legs feel stiff, and every breath hurts. The hospital sheets feel rough against my skin. For a moment, I can't remember what happened or how I got here. Then, like a punch in the gut, it all comes back. The screech of brakes, the crunch of metal, the screaming sirens. My name is Kayla, I'm 17, and I almost died in a car accident. I look around for Mom, expecting her worried face hovering over me. But there's just an empty plastic chair, an untouched tray of hospital food, and a nurse checking vitals. "Where's my mother?" I ask, throat dry. The nurse's gaze flickers. She tells me they called Mom right after I was admitted. She said she was out of town. I feel my chest tighten. On day 3, Jules, my best friend, shows up with flowers and tears in her eyes. She's the first person I've seen from home. She hugs me carefully. Then she bites her lip and shows me her phone, Mom's Instagram. Tanya, my mother, grins on a sunny beach in Cancun with a cocktail in hand. The caption stings, "Best week ever." I can't breathe. Doesn't she know you're here?" Jules asks, voice shaking. I swallow hard, anger mingling with heartbreak. The nurse confirms it. Mom knew, she just didn't care to come. I sit there in disbelief, running my fingers over the bruises on my arms. Each purple mark feels like a betrayal, a reminder that my own mother chose sand and sun over me. Jules tries to comfort me, but I see the confusion in her eyes too. She says, "Your mom blocked the hospital's follow-up calls. They thought you were basically emancipated." I stare at Jules. Emancipated? My voice trembles. The hospital staff assumed I was on my own because my emergency contact refused to show up. My heart pounds. I don't know which hurts more, the accident or the reality that my mom has better things to do. The next morning, a doctor walks in with discharge papers. "We can't keep you any longer," he explains gently. "You're stable, and there's no medical reason to hold you. Do you have someone to pick you up?" Jules offers me a ride, but her car is in the shop, and her mom is out of town. The hospital bus schedule is taped to the wall. It seems ridiculous. Going home on a bus, cast still fresh, stitches itching like crazy. But I have no other option. I sign the forms with shaky hands, tears burning my eyes. As I get ready to leave, I realize I'm going home to a mother who made it clear she doesn't want me. I limp down the hospital steps, my duffel bag slung over my shoulder. The bus ride feels endless. Each bump jostles my injured leg, reminding me how alone I am. By the time I reach our street, my breath comes in ragged gasps. I force myself to climb the porch and turn the key. Mom's voice hits me first. She's on the phone, sounding exasperated. She spots me and hangs up. I expect maybe a flicker of relief or concern. Instead, her face hardens. "Why are you back so early?" she snaps, like I ruined her schedule. Sun-kissed skin, fresh manicure, a new beaded bracelet, souvenirs from her business trip. I drop my bag. "I was discharged," I stammer. "I couldn't stay in the hospital forever." I fight back tears. I half expected a hug, but she just raises her brows. "Well," Mom says with a sigh, "I needed that break, okay? You're not the only one who had a rough week." Her voice is sharp, cutting through me like glass. My chest tightens. I try to head to my room, but when I open the door, I see strange luggage and clothes. She rented my room on Airbnb. I stare at the unfamiliar suitcase, my stomach churning. A stranger is sleeping in my bed. That night, I'm stuck on the living room couch. Every muscle in my body throbs. Pain meds dull, the edge, but I can't ignore Mom's laughter floating in from the kitchen. She's on a call with some friend, bragging about Cancun. I can't sleep, so I lie awake, overhearing every word. "She's such a drama queen," Mom says. "It was just a broken leg. Honestly, the hospital overreacted." I squeeze my eyes shut, rage boiling in my veins. I almost died, and she's mocking me? Mom's influencer deal apparently requires her to present a carefree, cool single mom vibe. No baggage, no teen drama. I guess my accident threatened that image. Every time I move, the pain reminds me how little she cares. Next morning, Mom hands me a list of chores, like I'm some live-in maid. Laundry, dishes, tidy up. I've got guests checking in tomorrow. She barely looks at my crutch or the bruises. I stand there, mouth open. She sighs. "Look, if this is too much for you, find somewhere else to stay." Her indifference cuts deeper than any broken bone. I glance at the empty hallway leading to my old bedroom. I realize I'm nothing but an inconvenience in my own home. Trying to regain some sense of control, I head back to the hospital the next day. My main goal is to pick up official discharge records and documents about physical therapy. Maybe I'll learn something that helps me handle this. At the records desk, the nurse who took care of me recognizes me. She lowers her voice. "Hey, hon, I have something for you." She hands me a folder. Inside are hospital notes that detail more than my injuries. There are mentions of suspected parental neglect and records of repeated calls to my mother that went unanswered. Reading the words makes me feel sick. Unresponsive parent. Child left alone for extended period despite injuries. This is official paperwork. Proof that people saw something was wrong. My heart pounds. Maybe I'm not crazy for feeling abandoned. The nurse leans in. "You need to be careful. She explicitly told us not to disturb her unless it was life or death." My vision blurs with tears. She pats my hand. "Protect yourself." I tuck the folder into my bag, mind racing. If Mom can dismiss my hospital calls, what else would she ignore? I leave with a new resolve. I have to document everything. Back home, I lock myself in the tiny half bath, phone in hand. My legs tremble from pain, but I focus on my reflection. Pressing record, I speak quietly, tears brimming in my eyes. "This is what it's like when your mom chooses Instagram over you," I whisper. I show the bruise on my cheek, the cast on my leg, and the discharge papers. My voice shakes. Mom only called the hospital once, to complain about possible fees. She never asked if I was okay. I end the video there, but I start another clip almost immediately. I film the hallway, my couch bed setup, and the locked door to my old room. Suddenly, Mom's voice filters through the wall. "You're holding me back? I should have never had a kid." Her words sting even more on camera. I silently record it all. Later, I rummage through the kitchen, looking for pain meds. By accident, I open the wrong drawer and find a large envelope, my name on it. Inside is a college acceptance letter from a writing program I dreamed about. The stamp's date shows it arrived 2 weeks ago. Mom never told me I got in. My blood boils. She must have hidden it. I confront her the moment I see her. "Why'd you hide this?" I wave the acceptance letter. Her reaction is a lazy shrug. She barely glances at the envelope. "You're not going to some out-of-state fantasy. Who's paying for that?" She scoffs. My heart pounds in my chest. "I've been saving. Grandma left me a college fund," I say, voice unsteady. Then it hits me. She might have touched that money. Mom snorts. "Oh, that? I used it to upgrade my social media equipment and do a brand deal. That was an investment for both of us." My head spins. She spent my education money on cameras, ring lights, and tropical trips. Anger bubbles up, but I have no energy to fight. Instead, I slip back to the couch, tears blurring my vision. She shouts something about me needing an attitude adjustment, but I'm too numb to reply. Later that evening, my phone rings. It's a number I don't recognize, but desperation makes me pick up. On the other end is my Aunt Michelle, Mom's estranged sister. She says she heard through a mutual friend that I was in an accident and wanted to check on me. Hesitant, I mention the acceptance letter and stolen funds. Michelle goes silent for a moment, then her voice cracks. "Sweetheart, there's a lot you don't know." Michelle invites me to meet her for coffee. Nervous, I slip out of the house, ignoring Mom's demands to do the laundry. Pain flares in my leg, but I press on, hoping Michelle can shed light on why our family is so fractured. We meet in a quiet cafe. Michelle has kind eyes and a reassuring smile. Over warm mugs, she starts telling me things I never knew. Years ago, she tried to help Mom with me when I was just a toddler. "Your mother would go out partying for days," Michelle says, voice trembling. "I found you alone in the apartment once. You were barely 3. No food in the fridge. I called Child Protective Services, but Tanya smoothed things over somehow." I feel my stomach twist. I'd always wondered why Aunt Michelle vanished from our lives. Turns out, Mom cut her off to avoid interference. Michelle's eyes fill with tears. "I thought about you every day, Kayla, but she wouldn't let me near you." She reaches across the table and clasps my hand. "Come stay with me. We can get you set up properly for college. We'll figure out how to protect you." Relief floods through me. For the first time in forever, I don't feel alone. My leg is still sore and packing is slow, but the adrenaline keeps me moving. It's late night, the perfect time to slip out. Mom's busy in her room, probably editing videos. I fold some clothes, grab my laptop, and stuff everything into a cheap suitcase. I glance once at the living room couch where I've been sleeping. Good riddance. As I wheel my suitcase out, my heart thunders. Outside, the air is crisp and cool. I text Aunt Michelle, I'm on my way. A tiny part of me expects Mom to fling open the door, demanding an explanation. But there's only silence. When I'm halfway down the block, my phone buzzes. It's a text from Mom. Where tough are you? The Airbnb guest complained about a weird smell in the kitchen, and I need you to handle it. No mention of my well-being. Typical. I don't reply. I power off my phone and keep going. 2 hours later, safe in Michelle's cozy guest room, I decide to post my first public video. An honest, raw account titled, My Mom Left Me in the Hospital for Vacation. I upload the clips of her cruel words and my hospital records. The last thing I see before bed is the view count skyrocketing. When I wake up, my phone is exploding with notifications. Overnight, my videos spread like wildfire. There are thousands of comments, from strangers offering support, people sharing their own stories of neglect, and some furious at Mom for what she did. My hands shake reading it all. I've never had this kind of attention. Michelle knocks on my door, holding her phone. Kayla, you're trending. She sounds half concerned, half astonished. My mind spins. This is the same voice I used to talk to in the hospital bathroom, only now the world is listening. Jules calls, breathless. People are dragging your mom online. Influencers are reposting your dress video, calling for a boycott of her brand partnerships. My heart pounds. Is this real? Did I just blow my mom's public image apart? Scrolling Instagram, I find Mom's latest post. It's a forced apology video. She's fake crying, saying she was misunderstood and that Kayla's situation was complicated. My stomach churns. The comments under her video are vicious, calling her out for lying. I can't help feeling a rush of relief. Maybe finally she'll face consequences. But even as strangers defend me, a small voice in my head wonders what Mom will do next. Within hours, people start dissecting Mom's apology. They notice background details from her Cancun trip that don't match her story. Screenshots of her beach photos overlap with the hospital timestamps. Someone finds a receipt that shows her spa visit the exact day she told the hospital not to call again. Brands quickly catch wind and drop her sponsorships like hot rocks. Michelle texts me a screenshot of a big influencer's post. Tanya's tears are faker than her Instagram filters. The comments cheer for me, calling me brave. It's dizzying, but I also feel exposed. My whole life is out there now. That evening, there's a loud pounding on Michelle's door. I freeze when I see Mom on the doorstep. Her face is twisted with anger, no cameras, no pretty filter. She looks straight at me, voice shaking with rage. Take down your video, Kayla. I'll sue you for defamation. Do you realize how much damage you've done? Michelle steps in front of me, calm but firm. You need to leave, she says to my mom. Mom sputters, threatening lawyers, yelling she'll ruin us. I stand behind Michelle, my heart pounding. I realize this is only going to escalate. Mom storms off, and I'm left trembling on the living room couch. Michelle sits beside me, phone in hand. We need a lawyer, she says, voice clear. If she tries anything, you need protection. She reveals she's been collecting evidence for years. Social services reports, old text messages, photos from the days she found me alone as a toddler. It's a small mountain of proof that my mom's neglect isn't just a recent thing. We hire a local attorney who's quick to recognize a case for emancipation. He explains the steps to legally free me from Mom's control. My heart thuds as I imagine a future where she can't yank my college fund or sabotage my acceptance letters. I want that future, badly. Michelle also mentions pursuing restitution, the legal term for getting my stolen money back. That fund was yours, she insists, and she had no right to spend it on her Instagram lifestyle. We file the paperwork, but just as I'm beginning to breathe, Mom posts a revenge piece. She calls me a liar, an ungrateful brat. She frames me as a lost teen manipulated by a bitter aunt. The comments are a mix of support for her and rage at me. Our lawyer warns me, this is going to get ugly. The next morning, I wake up to see Mom's latest bombshell. She claims I caused my own accident to get attention. She says I was speeding and ignoring traffic rules, painting me as reckless. My blood boils. Is there no low she won't sink to? But then, an incredible piece of evidence surfaces online. The dashcam video from the other car involved in the crash. It shows me driving carefully. The other driver ran a red light. There's the horrifying moment of impact. Metal on metal. I feel sick watching it. At the end, paramedics pull me out. I'm barely conscious, whispering, "Please, call my mom." People share this footage far and wide, calling out mom's lies. Comments flood my inbox, even from big-name creators. Hashtag Justice for Kayla trends. The truth is out. The accident was never my fault. I try to breathe through the mixture of relief and trauma. Everything is happening so fast. Michelle squeezes my hand. This changes everything. She can't keep twisting the narrative. But in the back of my mind, I know mom will keep trying to spin the story. She's lost sponsors, but she still craves attention and control. Things escalate beyond anything I imagined. A popular podcast host reaches out, asking me to share my story. They want an interview. I hesitate. Talking publicly about all this feels risky. But Michelle encourages me. This is your story. You decide how it's told. During the podcast, my hands shake around the microphone. I speak about the hospital bed, waiting for mom to show up, and her not coming. I talk about the stolen college fund, the forced Airbnb scenario. My voice cracks, but I stay honest. By the end, the host is teary-eyed, promising to link resources for teens in similar situations. After the show, I check my phone. A new message from someone named Grace. "I was your nanny when you were 4. I raised you for 6 years. She never wanted to be a mother. I'm so sorry, Kayla." My heart leaps. Memories swirl. A kind face feeding me dinner, reading me bedtime stories. Grace's message is an offer to testify in my case if needed. I close my eyes, tears falling. The circle of people supporting me is growing. I never thought I'd have to fight my own mother like this. But now, I'm not alone. Mom's sponsorships drop left and right. Companies don't want their brands tied to child neglect. I scroll through her once proud Instagram page, where she used to show off freebies and lavish trips. Now there's an eerie silence. A few random comments read, "Apologize to your daughter? You're canceled, and shame on you." Word gets out that she hasn't paid rent in months, always skipping or delaying because she was banking on influencer income. Her Airbnb guests are leaving terrible reviews, complaining of poor conditions. Everything she built on a fake image is collapsing. Then, a local news reporter runs a small story on me. They interview me briefly on camera. I hold the hospital folder, mention the dashcam footage, and talk about my planned emancipation. They also dig into mom's parenting history, pulling up old complaints. It's brutal, but for once, the truth is hitting the public eye. Soon after, Child Protective Services knocks on mom's door. She has to answer questions about neglect, about leaving me alone, about blocking hospital calls. Rumors swirl that she might face more serious legal troubles. I watch from Michelle's living room window, a strange relief washing over me. Mom's world is crumbling, and I didn't even have to lie. I just told the truth. A bigger TV network invites me for a sit-down interview. I'm nervous, but I remind myself I've already faced the worst. On set, the lights glare and cameras point my way. My chest feels tight. Then the host smiles gently, and we begin. They ask about my accident, my mother's reaction, and how I've been coping. I stay calm, choosing my words carefully. This isn't about vengeance, I explain, voice wavering a bit. It's about survival. No kid should feel like a burden just for existing. My heart pounds as I read aloud a short poem I wrote in the hospital, about the sting of being abandoned, about finding a shard of hope in the darkest places. When I finish, the studio is silent. I notice a tear in the host's eye. "Thank you for sharing, Kayla," they say softly. "You're helping others by speaking out." Once the segment airs, it goes viral. People flood my DMs with messages of solidarity, heartbreak, and encouragement. Then an unexpected note drops into my inbox. A well-known literary agent who saw the interview. She writes, "Your words moved me. Would you consider writing a memoir about your experiences?" My pulse quickens. Is this real? I glance at Michelle, her smile bright with pride. The literary agent's email is the start of something I never thought possible. She wants to help me turn my diaries, poems, and recorded truths into a book. I feel a spark of excitement. Writing has always been my dream, and now someone wants to give me a real shot at it. I work on a draft titled Unmothered, pouring my heart onto the pages. I describe the emptiness in our home, the hospital bed with no visitors, the relief of finding Michelle. It's both painful and freeing, like shedding layers of old wounds. Meanwhile, the legal proceedings for emancipation move forward. With the internet rallying behind me, a GoFundMe starts to support my college dreams. I watch in disbelief as the number climbs from hundreds to thousands to six figures. Strangers care more about me than my own mother ever did. Then, I see Mom's new post pop up, the truth about my daughter's lies. She's going all in, calling me manipulative, claiming everything was staged. My heart twinges, but I remind myself of the dashcam footage, the hospital records, the old nanny's testimony. The truth is unstoppable now. Still, I brace myself. The final showdown is near, and Mom won't let go easily. In Mom's latest video, she paces around her living room, eyes puffy, voice shaking. She claims I'm unstable, coached by my aunt, and desperate for fame. She points to my sudden online following, using it as proof that I'm a clout chaser. I watch the clip in disbelief. She's the one who built her life around social media illusions. But the internet isn't buying it. Dedicated viewers start digging into old blog posts, tweets, even a personal journal she once kept online. Screenshots appear showing Mom calling motherhood a cage and mocking me for being too needy. Her attempts to flip the script fall flat when direct evidence contradicts her at every turn. In a reaction video, someone calmly reads from her old blog, "Children hold you back, but my brand can't afford that." My chest tightens. Hearing her words out loud hurts, but it also solidifies my resolve. Finally, we serve Mom with a cease and desist letter, courtesy of Michelle's lawyer. She can't keep defaming me or lying about the accident. The letter demands she retract her false statements. Instead, she doubles down, crying victim. If she thinks a courtroom will sympathize with her, she's in for a shock. The day arrives for the hearing on financial abuse and my request for emancipation. I sit at one side of the courtroom with Michelle and our lawyer. Mom sits on the other, arms folded, face twisted in annoyance. Reporters gather outside the building. My stomach churns with nerves, but I hold tight to my notes. Our lawyer presents the evidence. The hospital records, text messages, the dashcam footage, and testimony from Aunt Michelle and my former nanny. Mom tries to interrupt, denying everything. She calls me a spoiled liar. The judge warns her to let our attorney finish. Then comes the hardest part. Our lawyer plays an audio clip, the one I recorded in the bathroom, capturing Mom's words. "You're a burden. I should have aborted you." The courtroom goes deathly silent. Even the judge looks shocked. Mom tries to recover, claiming it's edited or out of context, but the timestamps and audio authenticity can't be disputed. My heart hammers in my chest, tears blur my vision. Finally, the judge asks me directly, "Kayla, what do you want from all of this?" My throat is dry, but I force the words out. I want to sever all legal ties. I want freedom from someone who left me alone in my darkest hour. The gavel strikes with finality. The judge rules in my favor, granting me emancipation. He also orders restitution for the stolen college funds, to be paid by Mom. My entire body trembles with relief. I don't even care about the money as much as I care about the freedom, about never having to answer to her again. Mom leaps to her feet, shouting, "You'll regret this." Her voice echoes in the courtroom. Security ushers her out before she can keep ranting. People in the gallery stare at me with sympathetic eyes. I just stand there, tears slipping down my cheeks, realizing I'm free. No more forced chores, no more stolen letters, no more fear of being cast aside when it's inconvenient. Michelle pulls me into a hug in the hallway. Cameras flash around us. "You did it," she whispers, her eyes shining with pride. I exhale, letting the tension flood out of my body. For the first time in my life, I feel like my future is in my own hands. We leave the courthouse, ignoring the shouting reporters. Whatever Mom tries next, she can't take back the judge's decision. She can't keep me chained. I'm finally done with her. Michelle and I celebrate quietly at home. She orders takeout from my favorite Thai place, and we clink glasses of soda in a tiny toast. No big parties, no flashy posts, just genuine relief and gratitude. My phone pings nonstop with messages from friends, supporters, and even strangers who followed my case. It's overwhelming but also heartwarming. Then, in the middle of dinner, I check my email. My literary agent sends a subject line that makes my heart skip. Book deal offer, fast track. She's negotiated a deal with a reputable publisher. They love my manuscript for Unmothered and want to push it out sooner. My head spins. This is all happening so fast. Later that night, I scroll through social media. Mom just posted a desperate video, looking disheveled, begging me to call her. She says she wants to make amends now that she sees how serious it all is. My blood runs cold. After everything, she's still trying to manipulate me. I hold Michelle's hand and decide, I'm not biting. She's had too many chances. I turn off my phone and lean my head on Michelle's shoulder. For once, I feel safe, protected, and genuinely seen. I wake up the next morning to a flood of new developments. One major YouTuber, known for deep dive exposés, released a 2-hour documentary on Mom's shady rise and fall. It quickly hits millions of views. Commenters dissect every lie she's told, from her ridiculous apology to the final courtroom meltdown. Ironically, every ad on the video directs money to her channel, probably because of some automatic revenue share. She's profiting from her own downfall in a twisted way. Still, I decide not to watch it. I'm done with the chaos. I block Mom on every platform. Phone, email, socials. No more opening the door to her manipulation. My therapist says it's the healthiest step for me. Michelle and I drive to tour the college campus I was accepted to. I feel a wave of excitement strolling through the library and lecture halls. It hits me that my life can finally move forward without looking over my shoulder. Later, we stop by the bookstore, where we see a display for Unmothered, coming soon. My breath catches. This is real. It's not about revenge anymore. It's about telling my truth and moving on. A week passes with no calls or messages from Mom, just an eerie silence. Then a letter arrives at Michelle's mailbox, handwritten and messy. It's from Mom. At first, my heart pounds. I debate whether to toss it, but curiosity wins. I open it carefully. Inside, Mom swings between blaming me for ruining her life, begging me to forgive her, and threatening to harm herself if I don't respond. It's a roller coaster of guilt trips and manipulation. Michelle takes the letter to a trusted mental health counselor, who sighs. Classic narcissistic playbook, they say, warning me to stay strong. I share the letter in a new video, speaking directly to my followers. I show them how twisted emotional blackmail can be. If you're in a similar situation, please reach out for help, I say. Don't let threats trap you. The video goes viral again, but this time, I do something different. I donate all the ad revenue to a local teen crisis shelter. Part of me aches at the thought that my own mother wrote such a letter, but I remind myself, her words are just more attempts at control. I won't let them break me. The day finally arrives. Unmothered is published. Holding the printed book in my hands is surreal. It's my story, laid bare for the world. I autograph a copy for Michelle, tears of gratitude in my eyes. She insists on paying full price. I want to support my niece's debut, she says, laughing. A few weeks later, I'm invited to speak at a national youth conference about overcoming parental neglect. Standing on stage, I feel butterflies in my stomach, but also a fierce determination to share hope. I talk about finding your voice when people try to silence you, about choosing to heal instead of lash out. As I finish, I notice a familiar face in the audience, my former hospital nurse. Afterward, she approaches me. You inspired me to speak out about the importance of advocating for young patients, she says, hugging me warmly. My eyes sting with tears. It's a beautiful moment, a sign that my pain is to something that helps others. Applause erupts, and I step off the stage to a standing ovation. In that crowd, I see so many people who believed me, who fought for me when Mom wouldn't. A wave of gratitude sweeps over me. The next month is a whirlwind. With my restitution funds finally in place and my book earnings boosting my bank account, I move into my college apartment. It's small but beautiful. Fresh paint on the walls, a cozy sofa, and a tiny desk where I can write. Michelle helps me settle in, tears of pride in her eyes. I record one last video before classes start. Sitting at my desk, I speak candidly to the camera. My story isn't about revenge, it's a story about choosing yourself. I talk about how I found peace by cutting ties with the person who hurt me the most. Then I mention the scholarship named after me, created by a foundation touched by my story. It'll help other youth who survived parental neglect go to college. I've already pledged to donate part of my royalties to it. Mom still tries to contact me. She even shows up once near my campus, screaming about how I have money now. But the restraining order holds. Campus security escorts her away before she can make a scene. I shut the door of my new place, heart pounding, but I'm not afraid. I've reclaimed my life, on my own terms, with my own power. And that's the real victory.